The FIDH is the International Federation for Human Rights, the oldest and one of the biggest international NGOs dealing with human rights protection. The FIDH has 180 member organizations all around the world. I was elected president of the FIDH a year and a half ago, and one of the first priorities of us ever since then has been the deterioration of the human rights situation in Bahrain, particularly as we have witnessed it via the case of our Deputy Secretary General Nabil Rajab. So Bahrain, with the choices made by its government, became at the center of the international human rights concern of every international organization dealing with rule of law, democracy, and human rights in the world. He faces up to 15 years of prison in charges related to his tweet exposing torture in a Bahraini prison and criticizing the humanitarian cost of the war in Yemen. He stated in his tweet of March 26, 2015, and this is what the criminal offense was conceived, that wars bring hatred, destruction, and horrors. In no free state of the world, such wars would ever be considered as a penal offense, as a crime. And that is why Nabil is a political prisoner. Nabil is treated by the authority of his countries as an enemy, as an internal enemy. The internal enemy is not guilty. He is conceived as dangerous. And Nabil is conceived as a dangerous human by the authorities of his countries, because he speaks. Not only he is conceived as a dangerous citizen, but now, being incarcerated, he's even considered as a dangerous detainee, being held in a segregated wing of the jail prison in the same cell with other 5 detainees accused as members of a branch of the ISIS, of the Bin Ali clan, who has been also criticized by Nabil. So they put him there in order to isolate him from other prisoners, with the fear, of course, not to contaminate them with his ideas. Well, Nabil is very well known for his anti-extremist positions. And we see this detention under these particular circumstances as a direct threat to his safety, which should be addressed immediately by the authorities. It is only a few days ago that we received new credible information that new tactics are being used against Nabil Rajab to intimidate and harass him. Alarming signals have multiplied, raising security concerns regarding the lack of adequate and trusted medical care provided to him. I insist that the issue is not the general lack of medical care, but the lack of adequate, trusted, and reliable medical care provided to him by the authorities. We've received alarming, credible reports about the variability of the medical care afforded to Rajab. And we have reasons to believe that his health conditions are not treated in the adequate way. So our sources, credible information sources, reveal that Nabil's safety is on risk, and we fear for his life. What we demand on the medical level, we demand to release immediately Nabil on humanitarian medical grounds. His life is at imminent risk. We demand to allow Nabil to choose his own doctor, to allow access to his medical file. It's according to the Nelson Mandela rules, the UN standard minimal rules for prisoners that state that access to the medical file by third party has to be guaranteed. We demand to allow an international medical team to visit him in prison, to improve Nabil's conditions of detention, along with conditions of detention of other detainees in Bahrain. Allow him to have his personal belongings, allow him to have family visits once a week, allow him to meet his lawyer as often as needed, allow him to make phone calls every 3 days. We demand to revise all sentence against him, as his detention is arbitrary and his trial was not a fair trial. We ask the visit of the FIDH, of the International Federation for Human Rights, to be allowed in this country. We have been refused twice already to visit Nabil home or in prison, as well as other detainees and detained human rights defenders. We finally, last but not least, ask to lift the travel bans against human rights defenders in Bahrain. Ladies and gentlemen, Bahrain, over the last year, has gone too far. It has gone too far because it can go too far. It's up to us, it's up to you, up to the international community to change it. Not only for the sake of Nabil Rajab's life, for the sake of peace, for the sake of security in the region, for the sake of human dignity. Thank you very much.